So, welcome to Slaughter. Before we start the game, you know it's a horror movie making game, and it's all about basically not keeping your characters alive, but killing them off in glorious, fun ways. It's the only way you're going to get more powerful in the game. We're trying to. The way that you win this game is to create a story, a horror movie that you'd like to tell your friends about. That's the only rule. That's the goal. But before we start, the deck I've got out today is called Surviving the Horde, and that is basically a deck about some sort of it's where there's huge numbers of horrible creatures that are wanting to kill you, and they're on the outside or they're chasing you or whatever. They don't have to be zombies, but usually today they are. But if you think about it, the movie Aliens, as opposed to Alien, Aliens was a zombie movie. Alien was a serial killer movie. You get the idea.
Well, you could say Aliens was a horror film, but Aliens was an action film. That's how some
Yeah. So survival horror, however you want to put that. Now, whether you want to go down the full-on action is up to you or whatever. But what I want to know before we start this movie is what sort of zombie apocalypse / surviving the horde / alien. What do you want to put? Where is it set? When is it set? And what's the big bad that's after you? Let's brainstorm it.
Well, we clearly got cowboy over here.
We got a cowboy, so we could do the West.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the thing that has befallen this? Is it modern Western, or is it sort of the classic?
Let's go Westworld Western.
Westworld?
Science fiction Western.
I have not seen Westworld, but I understand the
I've
osmosis.
seen the first season. I have not seen the second season.
So science fiction. I'm going back to the Yul Bjorn movie. That dates me. So you're at a theme park, a Western robotic theme park in the future, and what's gone wrong?
Clearly, the robots are about to malfunction.
Yes,
Have the robots malfunctioned on purpose? Or is something else going on?
Yes. There's a
We
little
don't know. We don't know. Okay, that's it.
I was going to say espionage, but that's not the same.
It could be all sorts of things.
I'll let you
Now,
decide.
we've got a huge cast here. Since we've only got 2 players, generally for a zombie movie, I like to have between 2.5 to 4 characters in the cast. So let's go for a total of, say, 9. No, let's go for 8 characters. We'll keep it nice and short and small. So let's think about who would be in our cast. These are the archetypes. We've got scientists, criminals, kids, the authority, which might be the boss of the park, the soldier. We won't play the prepper because it doesn't really make sense in this setting. It could be a journalist, just an everyday person, your average person. A suit. The person who's rich and tries to boss people around. What would you like? What sort of characters do you think should be in here?
Well, I feel like we need to start out with soft, so let's go the scientist.
Male or female?
I'll leave that up to you.
I go.
Male or female?
I like the female card. It's just a little bit more
Female
interesting.
scientist. Okay. What else do we have? Who else do we have?
We need the security guard from the park.
The security guard. Lady or man? Oh, actually, we could do the soldier for that, or we could do the law. They're very similar. We could play them either way.
I feel like we'd go to war.
The law?
Law, yeah.
Okay, so probably someone who's a bit more investigative as well. So male or female, or both.
Let's go Paul Block. Mall cop.
Yeah.
Mole cop?
Yeah.
Mall cop.
Mole cop. Okay. And you want to put the soldier in there as well?
Yeah, we'll do soldiers. I mean,
One.
you definitely would put soldiers into like a theme park as
Maybe there.
super guards, or at least
Yeah, could be an additional guard. Or maybe she was a vet having a vacation. We'll figure that out. As we go. Okay. So that's given us 3. Who else do we need on the set?
How about a child?
Yeah, we need like a child.
We can have a cute little boy, or we can have a cute little girl.
I think the boys look more innocent.
Okay, boys
Yeah.
more.
I'm sorry. Just like
Yes.
we could have.
Casual misogyny, no problem.
I'm sorry. I don't know. The kid look like the boy can look a little bit cuter.
That boy,
Okay.
he is cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so who else? Spiritualists, God botherers, the pure. Now, we've been very careful about the language in the game. I don't mind whatever you want to call it, but the pure is the person who's pure and innocent,
The Puritan, yeah.
the purity thing.
Yeah.
We also have one called the vixen, who's actually not in this deck. Didn't need to be. We've got the criminal, which I would actually vote that we put a criminal into this deck.
Sounds good.
We've got 2 criminals. We've got the guy from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, and we've got the guy from Leon the Professional. If you want.
I will tell you, we do need a jock in this party, though.
A jock? Okay.
Yeah, we do.
So for the criminal, who do you think? The lady? Good. She's one of my favourite cards. Jock? Who?
Who looks the most Chadders?
Most
Chad.
Oh, they're both pretty much there.
Just a second, Finn's maybe the female jock.
Female jock?
Yeah.
Done. Okay, how many cards do we have there so far? We've got 6. So who else?
Do we have a mother or a father for the kid yet?
We
Be
don't.
like an average citizen.
An average Joe? Yeah, we could go mother or
Schmo.
father.
Yeah, mother. Mother seems more
Scary
stereotypical.
mother.
Yeah.
Let's go
Well,
stereotypical.
these
Taking my two
are movie posters. They're not the actual picture of the character, but you get an idea. Okay, we need one more.
What do we got left?
Spiritualists, more like a woo-woo person. God botherers, more of the traditional. It's the work of the Lord. We could have a medic
We could
and a
have
slacker.
we could have the priest as like the theme park priest.
The preacher,
Yeah, the preacher.
and he's a
is-
robot.
There you go.
Oh, maybe we don't know. Done. Okay, so that's our cast. What I'll get you to do is just spread those out so that you can see all the cards up there. Now the name of the actor on the face of the card may as well just be the name that we give them in the story. Just pop them on here. Yep, so that you can see them.
I will have to glance over because I am short-sighted. Like hell. So they're poster style. I really do like that.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's so much work. And a big difference. Originally when I designed this game about 3 years ago, we had the cards about this big because I wanted to do a pocket game.
Yep.
So here's how you do it. This is how we start the game. Your first job is to choose who the current protagonists in front of the camera are. So when you take a character, think about it, that this person is now the main focus of the movie for the moment. If you think about a lot of Stephen King movies or his books, you'll always start with a lovely little old lady who gets brutally, horribly murdered and so things start. So when you choose a character, remember they're going to die first.
Let's do this. Let's go mother and kid.
Mother and child.
Which one was the mother?
That one.
Yeah, I'll take them.
Now you turn them over, face up. Face up. Yep, turn it over. Okay, so this one is face up. Now you can read that. Basically, that's the mechanics of the game. So whenever you need to build a dice pool.
I was just laughing at the card description. Yeah.
And have fun with that. Interpret the game. Now, your next job is to choose one talent and one flaw.
So just top card? Or?
You get to look through the deck and choose which one you want.
I'll look through all flaws.
Yeah. Now the flaws also have a bonus. So don't think that just because it's a negative cinematic storyline impact, it doesn't have a positive impact on the story. They're tropes. Everything is a trope.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to look through this.
I mean, if this amulet's so valuable, why wouldn't we just change it for ourselves?
I'm gonna go with out of sight. I'm good at hiding.
We're not going to be doing. Are we going to be doing infections in this game? Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
It's up to you.
I'm gonna go conspiracy nut, simply because I feel like perhaps she's like an anti-vax person.
Now, brilliant. See, now that's what you want. She's an anti-vaxxer. Now, this card you read, but you don't display until you want to use its bonuses.
So we do look at it.
You do look at it, but I'm giving you that one. Oh, so you are the mother, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes. And you're the kid. This is my way of messing with you.
kid permanently hungover.
Why not? It doesn't mean that you're a tiny little child. You might be a 15-year-old teenage brat.
I do like amateur hacker. Oh, man, you should use that for the kid. That would have been really great if they had like dinosaurs instead of robot zombies.
Yep. And the only kid who can actually stop it, who's the hacker, gets munched first.
It's a Unix system.
Okay, I want to really mess with you.
I'm going to do knows the way out. His mother knows best.
It's like he said, you want a job, you're not outsourcing the job. That's very much so. So come with us, so you can actually, get the experience instead.
There you go. I'm a bastard.
I'm curious what you
Now,
want.
I'll explain very quickly before we move on how we actually play the game. At the start of the scene, which is pretty much whenever I want, and I get to cut the scenes, and I can leave scenes hanging. But whenever there's a new scene, I'll play a card here. And the scene card will have some sort of a narrative basis to it. Some of them can only be tapped by me, meaning I can activate it, and others of the director, and others of them, if you get in first, you might beat me to using that card. Or I might wait until you use it. But the scene really the scene cards are designed to set the story in motion for that part. Whenever there's a challenge in a scene, we don't resolve it like Dungeons & Dragons where it's a blow by blow. We resolve the entire scene in one hit. And everybody builds a dice pool. The way you build your dice pool is you look at your character cards. You'll always get either mind, body, or soul. We're just going through the rules. Join us.
This is Jesse's never played a role-playing game before, but he wants to try something.
Okay, this is a very different sort of role-playing game. Please join us. Grab there.
Okay,
Jesse, I'm Joe.
Nice to meet you.
And you are Jesse? How do you like to be referred to?
Just Jesse.
Just Jesse?
Casey?
Casey? Joe.
Nice to meet you.
Now, because we've got one other person, I'm going to introduce two more characters to the game, to the story. So shall we put maybe a suit, maybe the park owner or manager? Do you like horror movies?
I've watched a couple, but I'm not a huge connoisseur or anything.
Not a problem. So this game is designed that you're trying to weave a horror story, and the idea of it is you're going to grab any one of these characters. This is the cast. We've also got the mother of a young boy. How old is your boy?
I'm going to go 8, maybe.
8 years old boy. You're in Westworld. It's a cowboy theme park in the future with robots.
Yeah, I know about Westworld.
Okay, and something bad has happened. We don't know what. We figure that out as we go.
He decided. Well, we decided to come over and read it's going to be because I was dressed as a cowboy.
So the current cast members are the last of the law, some sort of a mall guard. We've decided. The park owner, the preacher from the local, church in Westworld, the jock, East Town jock, a scientist, an ex-soldier who he's here on R&R and she has PTSD, we think, and a criminal. So your job in this game is not to keep your character alive. It's to have them killed off so you gain death points that means your next character is tougher.
Okay, so when your character dies, you get another one.
You just draw another character. And here's how you create your character. Choose out of the remaining cast to the left who you would like to play. And bear in mind, this will not be the character you want to survive to the end of the movie.
You don't have to.
Excellent. So you put her face up, like this. Okay. Now, look through the talent deck and the flaws deck and choose one card each and put them face up.
I can see how this is very different to normal role-playing games already.
It's more of a board game.
I can see why you don't want to pick something that's good for your character.
Exactly. Because we're wanting to play to kill off the characters.
Okay.
That one's a boring one.
And I take one from this deck
Actually,
as well.
I'm gonna give you. Yes. Now, this card is called the Hook.
Yep.
You read it, but you don't show it to anybody until you're ready to turn it over and use it.
Okay.
But this one is pretty much whenever you want an item, you just turn it over and I will give you an item.
Okay.
So let me just explain how you build the dice pools again while we're doing that. You always choose mind, body, or soul. Mind if you're thinking it, body if you're trying to, climb trees, put makeup on, whatever. And soul, which is to talk your way out of trouble or not be possessed, that sort of stuff. So you always choose the lowest dice, which is still remaining, in that pool. So this would always be a D4. Then you would look across your cards, and you can, if it's a black dice, you can use it whenever you want. If it is a white dice on top of a red blood splat, to use that, to get that narrative bonus to your dice pool, you slaughter the card. You have to, you get rid of the trope. If it's one of the elements on this card, on the hook, you must reveal the hook. And that is a narrative reveal. Your dirty little secret might come out, and then you get that. There are other ways of getting bonus dice. For example, if you can say that one of these people is helping you, you'll get an extra small dice bonus, a D4. If you tap the scene, which is over in here, you get to that before anybody else does, you get that dice as well. I will build my dice pool using the props and the tropes and the monsters at my disposal. Bear in mind, these guys usually would eat you for lunch. Most of the monsters are going to be substantively more powerful than you, unless you're working together and so forth. And that's okay. Whoever gets the highest, you don't add the dice together, it's literally the highest number wins. Now, if there's two people who get the same highest number, it's called a complication. You remove those dice, and each of you has something bad that happens. It can be an injury, or it can be something else. And that's it. If you lose, we calculate how bad the situation is, and you'll take injuries and probably madness as well. So the aim of the game is to be fast, keep it fun, think as if you are a writer, a group of writers writing a horror movie. Put yourself into the horror movie. Okay, so everyone good to go? I'm going to start the movie.